Okay, I have given you all 2 pieces of material. So what I would like you to do is, here's your material. I want you to fold it in half. And I want it to be measured 6 by 12. That's what I want you to make sure. This one is a little off. It's 6.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark 6 inches. And I'm gonna do that 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. And then we're going to draw that line so we can cut a straight line. I'm going to get my scissors. And I'm going to cut that extra material off. Now I'm going to get these 2 pieces of material and I'm going to put them right side facing each other. The solid piece of material, it probably shouldn't matter depending what your material, what color you get, but you'll have to check. So the right side will go facing each other. So I'm going to pin this, and I'm going to pin this from the inside right here down. So when I'm sewing, I can continue to sew on and I don't have to remove my pins. Just pin a few on each side. Doesn't have to be perfect amount of pins. And now your gap, you're going to make about 3 inches. So you can take the ruler and measure, or you can just do it by eye, but here's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put one right here. And there's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches. So I'm going to put another line right there. So when I sew, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go all the way around and I'm going to stop there because I want that gap open so I can turn my project right side out. Okay, so by now you have your pattern cut out and pinned together. I like having the pins this way because you're sewing over here. The pins are over here. You don't have to worry about taking them out. If you put them this way or too close, you're gonna have to stop, take them out, stop, take them out, stop, take them out. But since we're dealing with such a big pattern, we can do this. If we were doing something like a small hem, then we would have to put the needles closer and we would sew and take each one out as we're going so the hem stayed in place. But we don't need to do that. So if you put the pins just like this, we can just continue to sew and we won't have to stop to remove the pins. Sometimes they might be in the way and you can remove those. Those are fine. Put this on. So we're going to start at this mark right here. And we are going to go in just a little bit on your material. And you're going to, there's a little 1/4 of an inch right here. So there's going to be that little bit of a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So as you're sewing, you always just make sure that you have that much material showing all the way around. I usually measure it right here. If you need to measure it on a certain length, there's measurements on here on your the top of your sewing machine, but I just go by eye because we're not measuring anything that we don't have to worry about how big or small it is, just that it is sewed together. Okay, so we go forward a couple stitches, stop, go back a couple stitches. Okay, and now we're going to go forward and we're going to go all the way almost to the end, but we're going to stop right there. Right when you almost get to the end. Do you see how much room is left right there? We're going to stop there, and this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to turn our material. We're going to make sure that the needle is down. It's down into the material, so it's going to hold the material in place when I pop the foot up. And then I'm going to take my material and I'm going to just turn it. And you see how the needle is holding my material down? That's how we're going to turn on the corner. Then you put your foot back down, and now you're going to go this way. And you don't have to go backwards here because we already have it locked in at the very front, at the very when we first started. So we're continuing to sew. We haven't stopped. This is a continuous line. So continue to go forward. This one's a little close, so we can take that out. There's a couple pins that are close. Take that one out. And I'm just guiding this because the feet on the bottom will hold it into place. It'll feed it for me. There's teeth on the bottom here. Okay, now I'm gonna stop again, and my corner, I could feel that it's kind of close. So I'm gonna stop way over here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect measurements. So we're gonna make sure that the needle's down. My needle is up, so I wanna make sure that's down. Then I can lift up my foot. I'm gonna turn my material, put my foot back down, and now I'm gonna sew this side. And there's more material on this side. There's a little bit of a funky cut right here, and that's okay. I'm just gonna come in this much on this one side. It's gonna be a little bit different, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is perfectly imperfect. Now, sew that straight, and I'm gonna follow that same amount of material all the way down, and I'm just guiding my fingers. You see, I'm just kind of like walking it through. I'm not pulling, I'm not pushing, I'm literally guiding it. Stop right there. My needle is down, so I can pick up my foot, and I can turn my material, and I put my foot down again. And I continue on. And where my mark is, it's way over here. So always make sure that you don't continue to sew on where until it closes. I'm gonna keep going. And you don't have to go this fast. I've just been doing it for a little bit of time so I can. Okay, so my needle is up. I want to put it down before I lift up that foot to turn my material. Lift up my foot. I'm going to turn my material, and I'm going to sew right to here, and then I'm going to go forward and back just like we do to lock that in. I'm going to stop right there, go backwards, and I'm done. Make sure my needle is up before I pull out my material so I don't break my needle. Pull the thread out and cut it. And you can remove the remaining pins. Okay, so I took all the remaining pins out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this extra thread because I don't need it. It's getting in the way, it's really long. Cut that off. Come over here, just cut it off. Better pair of scissors. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these corners. And when we made the fidget bags, sometimes I remember to tell you guys to cut the corners and sometimes I didn't. So for those of you that do not know, when we turn this inside out, we kind of want this to be gone because otherwise it'll be bulky. It won't look like a nice corner. So we're going to cut the corner right here, but we're not going to cut through the thread. So we're going to be careful not to cut the thread, just like that. And we cut them on all the corners, like that. This one has a little extra material. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. It's just because that's the way it was cut to begin with. I don't want to cut it too close to the thread. I want there to be some room. I don't want it to be at the edge. I want it to be, there's some room. This corner, cut the corner, this corner, cut the corner, and I already did that one. Now I'm going to, where's my opening? Right here. I'm going to now turn this right side out. So just little by little, push it through. And I had you leave a nice big opening because there's a lot of material to turn inside out, or right side out. So you don't want to sit there and struggling for an hour. The smaller the gap, the harder it is. And try to push out as much as you can. See that nice corner? Just get your finger and just kind of push it through. And if that doesn't work, if you can't do that, Then you get your pencil, because see how that one's a little, it's not quite pointy enough. I'm gonna get a pencil, which you guys should have around you in your box. And I'm gonna put the pencil through the gap. And I'm just gonna push it out to the corner. And you don't have to push it too hard because you don't want to make a hole. But now that's a nice corner. And so let's go to this corner and see what happens. We'll have to probably do that to that corner too. I just got lucky on the first corner, I guess. And then this corner, same thing. Okay. So now we have your pillow that is ready to be stuffed. We're going to get our pillow. Where's that gap? There's the opening, and we're going to stuff the pillow with stuffing. And push it in there. And we don't want to, we're going to stuff it, but we're not going to make it real full, but I want it nice and fluffy. So we don't want it hard. We don't want a hard pillow. We want enough stuffing in there to fluff it up and give you a nice fluffy pillow to have. So you just keep doing that until it gets a little full. Okay, so now you have stuffed your pillow with stuffing. You have this on the top, and now you're going to whip stitch this closed. So here's your nice little fluffy pillow. I threaded my needle, and now I'm going to put a knot in my needle. I'm going to roll it over, put it on my finger. I just make an X, and then I'm going to roll it off and pull the string, and there you have a double knot. So now I'm going to come in from the inside, like I showed you before. I'm going to come in through the inside, and I'm going to hide that extra thread in there. Now on the top of this, I'm going to just whip stitch, and if you'd like to pin this so it stays nice and straight and how you want to hem it, you can pin. Okay, so we're going to go from the front to the back, front to the back, and just get the very edge so you don't have to, you won't see too much of it. And it's okay if you do see it, because it's part of the decorations. Front to the back, front to the back. And this is your whip stitch, front to the back, front to the back. Okay, I'll see you here in a minute. Okay, now I'm finishing up. So I've done my little whip stitch, and now I'm going to end it by going through where I ended up at, the thread and a little bit of material, and I'm going to go through this loop to create a knot, and that's going to create a knot, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, and then I'm done. That as close as you can. And now I have my sewing pillow.